All right, I've been kind of leading up to this, so I'm going to give it a shot. Allegedly, I've been getting better at monologues, navigating patterns, live streams, going well. What I want to talk about is how the meaning crisis is related to what happened in the computer industry. Now, obviously, this is a bold claim, and I'm going to try to make the case as best as I am able. Why are people writing software? Why are companies pursuing the software industry? Why are people pursuing programming? What is the ethos? What is the reason? What is the telos? What is the goal? And maybe we'll step back and say, well, what was the original purpose of writing software? Most of the early software was military. We don't want to calculate firing rockets by hand or missiles. That kind of math is best done by computers, which is true. So you get, ENIAC and all that with calculating trajectories for rockets and missiles and all sorts of things. And this is all wrapped up and based around the precision artillery movement that Napoleon, for example, sort of leveraged to best advantage to, destroy the world and all that. But more about that on Navigating Patterns with Adam on the French Revolution. The reason why people got into software initially was to automate things so that humans didn't have to do work, and also to do a bunch of work that couldn't be done any other way. This may sound absurd, but mass high-speed printing, digital music, digital recording of music, mass production of digital music, these are all enabled by computer science. And a lot more. I'm not trying to be exhaustive. I couldn't possibly be exhaustive. Particle physics calculations for science enabled by software. I never got the job, but I interviewed for a company that did the support for some of the software at the national labs. I don't mean a national, I mean all of them. So they were supporting supercomputing software. Really sad I didn't get that job for lots of reasons, but also damn cool. A lot of design work for cars, for buildings, for toys, for all kinds of things is enabled by good software. And a lot of research work in information theory, right? In mathematics, enabled by computers. And then you've got the AI revolution, right? Well, first the machine learning revolution, which AI is a part of. And I mentioned this before, most of the machine learning stuff works better than most of the AI stuff for most things. Just letting you know. And this is something I'm super familiar with. I've done a bunch of genetic programming. I've worked with support vector machines. I'm doing AI work. A lot of it is layered, and yeah, there are areas where you can improve on symbolic regression with AI for sure, but there are some things symbolic regression does better. I'll find out if the AI does the thing that I was doing better than the symbolic regression someday, if I can ever get an AI code to work. Yeah, tuning symbolic regression is way easier, and it modifies itself way quicker than AI can write code. You want code you can write? Symbolic regression, not AI, baby. Lots of limits on what symbolic regression can do, but man, does it build code fast. It's pretty cool. Nowadays, people think the software needs to hit the market first, that it needs to make money or enable customers to do a thing or get advertising dollars or attract people in some way. But that's not why you should get into building software, whether you're a corporation or a person. You should be building software for the original reasons, to make life easier and better for people, whether that's doing things through automation that weren't previously automated, enabling products like digital music and high-speed personal printing, high quality high-speed personal printing, or allowing people to experiment with evolution or other information theory principles, or creating some worlds. If it's just about money, why would you write something that worked, that was quality? You're not going to put the quality in the software if the purpose is to get first to market, because making quality software takes longer. And quality can't be measured very easily. Certainly not quantitatively, by definition, by the way. Yes, that's axiomatic. That level of corruption is a problem. That level of movement away from a higher purpose, right, when wrapped up around making the lives of the users better, is a problem. If your software is designed to take someone's attention away from something more important or of a higher quality importance, what are you doing? I mean, maybe you're making money for yourself or your company or whatever. Okay. What is the meaning of the project, of the time, energy, and attention that you're putting into your work? Is it just money? Is it just getting first to market? Is it just doing something cool? Is it just building a playground for other people to play in some crazy video game? Is that all it is? That's the corruption of the software industry. That's the loss of meaning. Money is not meaningful. Money is representative of something, hopefully beauty, which is one of the transcendentals, probably not a coincidence. If you want to know more about money, navigating patterns. Got a video on economics and 2 on money. They're actually short, the 2 on money. You can understand that a lot better using a reasonable framework that isn't horrifically obviously broken, which is why I have navigating patterns for such endeavors. The problem with the meaning crisis that Jordan Peterson points to and John Vervaeke explicates rather nicely is we don't know why we're doing what we're doing. And we don't know why other people are doing what they're doing. Oh, they're just going to work to make money. And they're just making money because they need it to pay their mortgage and their debts and buy food. Problem with that is that it can't possibly be true. But when we start thinking a certain way, we start acting a certain way. And when you start thinking in the software industry that the goal of software is to make you money, you start acting as if that's the goal of software, and then you get all this crappy software of low quality. It's the same meaning crisis. And you may say, why would a crisis of people and meaning manifest in the software industry and seemingly collapse the software industry before it collapses everything else, which is my thesis to some extent, because technology is a lever and it moves faster than we do. That's not controversial at all. On an evolutionary timescale, people don't move very fast at all. Thousands of years for one tiny genetic modification to get through, at a reasonable penetration of the population. And technology's been moving so fast since the invention of the telegraph. And if you placed it anywhere else, you're wrong, by the way. Horribly wrong. It's the telegraph, which is a high-speed method of communication that is the precursor to everything else. And every other technology that we had since then is actually based on telegraph principles. All of it. And if you don't know that, that's because you haven't studied your history or you don't understand enough about electricity and electromagnetism. And you can make some arguments about, well, they tried underwater telegraph systems and they didn't work until this guy named Heaviside fixed it all for them because he understood Maxwell's equations and some of the implications thereof. But I don't want to get too deep into that because this is not a technical channel. At that depth, anyway. So this meaning crisis rips through the software industry in unbelievable time and just wrecks all the software. Boom. And now this doesn't work at all. It's practically garbage at this point. Unreliable notifications, dropped calls left, right, and center. Doesn't switch anymore, used to, between cell and Wi-Fi. It used to. That hardware used to. It's a software problem, for sure. Android Auto is a catastrophe. I mean, a bunch of stuff I used to be able to do with my cell phone from 10 years ago, I can't do anymore. It just doesn't do it anymore. It just doesn't work. It's not functional. That functionality is gone forever, seemingly. And you know what? Next week, a new batch of things will be broken. And you get all these people who graduated computer science who don't understand the more releases you have, the more bugs you have. Period. End of statement. Full stop. It's mathematical certainty. And they want more releases, which is equivalent to wanting more stuff. I wanted more stuff. And yeah, there's not a one-to-one correlation. I mean, you're not going to take the software industry and map it onto human life. Obviously, it's not going to work. And you're not going to be able to carry that forward and, do anything, we'll say, useful with it. Of course not. But the parallels are there. There's definitely a parallel between software not being built with quality in mind and people not understanding the purpose of software is not economic. The purpose of software is not first to the market. The purpose of software isn't pull your attention away from all useful things in the world. That's not the purpose of software. When you make that the purpose of software, you destroy the software because it has to be couched in a larger thing. The meaning crisis is the same sort of problem. When you take away or misunderstand the purpose of your life in its fullness through time, you have a meaning crisis. You have domicile. You don't know where you fit. You don't have a home. How can you have a home if you don't know why you have a home? The why is really important. The telos, the final cause, that goal, that reason, really important and determines everything else. You need that. It's not optional. And if the purpose of Netflix is just to provide you with content, why would it be any good? Not to say they don't make some good content, but how much of it is good? What's the effect of bad content versus the effect of good content, especially when there's a lot more bad content than there is good content? I mean, it's great to point at specific examples when you're talking about a specific person or agent. But when you're talking about a group, you have to use a group equivalent. Is the majority of the content you're consuming good? Is the majority of the software you're using actually working? Are we gaining functionality through technology or losing functionality due to the constraints of technology or the brokenness of technology? Did we trade physical paperwork and forms for endless digital nightmares that don't work? Because I think we did. The technology's not serving us anymore. We're serving the technology. Worse yet, we're servicing an image of what we think the technology wants. That's how you get into this whole thing with AI. What's AI up to? Whatever we tell it, it's not that hard. We still control it completely. It's not emergent at all. That isn't happening. How do we end up ascribing the qualities of human consciousness, which we can't define and therefore cannot measure, to AI? How are you using a word that you have no definition of and no measurement for, and then saying, oh, well, that's very close over here? How can it be close? We can't measure it. This came out in the Consciousness and Conscience event in Thunder Bay, and there's a YouTube channel for that. You can check out some of the talks. They're all quite good. Nobody has a measurement for these things. They've tried measuring consciousness. They have no idea how to do it. They tried to use it to measure whether or not someone was dead, and that didn't work either, in a quite surprising way, according to Dr. Mandral, who did a talk on that at Thunder Bay. And we're using this idea of consciousness, which nobody has a reasonable definition for, and nobody has a measure of that works, to try and figure out when the technology is becoming greater than us. We can't even measure consciousness between humans and dogs. I think you're getting ahead of yourself. That's the meaning crisis, where you can't even tell that that's so absurd. It's a non-starter. It's crazy talk. I don't know if you need medication or if you're on too much medication. But it's not right. There's something wrong with you. The technological collapse of the stability and quality of software is just the meaning crisis at high speed. It's where we're headed. And we drove the technology there. It just got there first because it's quick. It moves faster than we do. Technology is the result of distributed cognition. It takes a long time for humans to make changes like that. 10 years, this is a totally different device. Totally different. I would argue way worse. I like my slide-out keyboard phone better. It's about this big. A little bit bigger with the slide-out keyboard. I don't know. Doesn't seem like progress, or at least not progress to anything I want to go towards. You can progress towards lots of things, like hell. You make progress towards hell. I don't think you should. I'm going to try to avoid that, but hey, you do you, man. It's all meaning. It's all why. And when we don't know that, we destroy our technology. And then we pretend that our technology is destroying us when we're the ones driving the bus. The question is, where the hell are we driving that bus?